Audio Jungle.
No more gangsters paradise. The police on Thursday vowed that gangsters would never again take control of Spanish Town, St. Catherine after responding quickly to fiery protests by residents of Taws Meadows and other communities angered that cops had shot dead one other gang leader, Authentic Man Laban. News of his demise, a reaction in the Taws Meadows community. This reaction is really an indication of the kind of psychological control and impact that gangs continue to have on these communities, and so persons are upset and are expressing themselves based on their relationship with Tipman, who was a leader in the area. Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Christopher Phillips said, Wednesday night we had a few incidents where roads were blocked and others were attempts to burn a few premises, but we were quick on location to put some control on that, he pointed out. Tipman was shot dead in the 6 miles area of St. Andrew South Police Division during what the police said was a gunfire with members of the anti-gang task force on Wednesday about 10 p.m. News of his killing sparked uproar among residents in section of Spanish Town who immediately began to block roads with tires and other debris and setting them ablaze. The court's bargain center was torched, and there were reports of loud and continuous explosions as gunmen challenged the security forces. Over the years, Spanish Town has been the scene of deadly protests whenever gang leaders are killed or taken into custody by the police. Among the more memorable cases are those of Donovan, Bobby Bennett, and Andrew Bonman Hope. On Thursday, Phillips said the security forces will do all in their power to keep things under control in Spanish Town and will not tolerate that kind of behavior displayed by Tipman supporters Wednesday night. We now have a strong presence in the area. Roadways were cleared and we continue to maintain a presence in Spanish Town as best as possible, watching carefully all the communities that are connected to the deceased, he stated. I want to reassure all our commuters and residents within this space that we have things under control and that we are not going to allow that kind of disorder that we have seen in Spanish Town over the years. We are very much intolerant of this kind of behavior. Already, we have 4 persons in custody who were part of the blocking of the road Wednesday night. We are going to be sending a strong message, Phillips said, as he described St. Catherine as the epicenter of criminality in Jamaica, and that it is going to require serious and strong action on the ground to ensure control is not lost. He commended his colleagues for exercising restraint on Wednesday night, despite residents accusing them of abuse, damaging police vehicles, and displaying violence and destructive behavior. You saw what happened in terms of citizens damaging 4 vehicles and the kind of disorder and disrespect coming from them when the police attempted to move in. Of unprofessional conduct from any of my members. I believe they exercised great restraint Wednesday, and until these people start to behave themselves, we are going to be in these communities, and the efforts will be relentless. Lest we turn their place into Haiti. It cannot work, Phillips said, his voice firm. He told journalists that Tipman's power and influence as a gangster sprung from far and wide. If St. Catherine is now seen as the epicenter of criminality, just imagine that network he created over a period of time. He met his demise outside of his division, and he is known to be connected to several other communities in and outside of St. Catherine. He was one of the main targets for the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force based on his involvement in various activities of criminality, the senior cop stated. The upheaval in Spanish Town affected operations at numerous private business establishments, including restaurants, some government entities, and schools that shut their doors. The protests also impacted services offered by Jamaican Urban Transit Company Limited in Spanish Town, and all matters of the St. Catherine Parish Court were suspended. Taxi operators in Spanish Town Transport Center complained that they were getting very few passengers, as many people opted to stay off the streets. In Thickman community of Taws Meadows, residents seemed to care very little about what was happening in the wider Spanish town. All they were concerned was that the fact that their leader, whom they painted as a saint, had been taken away from them and said they didn't believe that he challenged the police. One woman claimed that when he was alive he wasn't allowed to live in peace, alleged that he was frequently arrested by security forces for unknown reasons. His name did not come out of any person of interest or any wanted man. Every time police come here, they choose to visit his house. They come here and they leave with one foot of the man's shoes. Them. Them go as far as take up one dog and lock up the dog in the house oven. Mash up his game, his television and ransack his house. To hold them terrorize him. If he even wants to spend a night in his house, he can't. You have some special police way as them reach in the community them say, come, we are going to look for him, she claimed. All we know is that Tickman has died. He was a nice, jovial, fun-loving person to be around. He was not a man who disrespected people. He ran jokes, with down to even the babies. Everybody in the community loves him. December gone, he kept a treat for the elderly. He brought out all the senior citizens, fed them, and distributed packages. He was loved by everybody. People on the outside of the community would not really know these things, but everywhere he goes, he interacts with everybody, down to the animals. We have lost a good and loving member of our community, the woman stated. The news of his death was very shocking. I was in disbelief. I did not believe until I saw a photo of him. I never expected this. When storm come, him look food, pack and distribute. Back to school time, him keep the biggest treat. Every child who has nothing to go to school has to get something. If you go to him and say you don't have any lunch money, he might give you picnic money. If you go to him and say you don't have no dinner, he might give you dinner money. He makes sure that you have it. If you want to go to the doctor, he will make sure that you go to the doctor. Children cannot be on the road after certain hours. He was a community person. If you have a problem and go to him, he would sit down and listen and solve it as best as he could. To tell you the truth, all of us are sad, she stated. DPP not in favor of judge alone trials. Director of Public Prosecutions DPP Paula Llewellyn believes the country's justice system is not yet ready for judge-alone trials and says she therefore does not support ending jury trials. Chief Justice Bryan has been advocating for support to end jury trials, arguing that bench trials, in which matters are handled without a jury, would save judicial time and allow for more cases to be tried while offering a better quality of justice. But Llewellyn said, I am not in favor of the Jamaica of today of having judge-alone trials because I have found in my experience that when you have very credible specific cases that really impact on the community, it helps the community to understand the justice system when they are part of making the verdict, while citing as example the murder case of Everton Beachy Stop MacDonald and Omar Cullimore, both of whom were convicted for orchestrating the murder of their wives. In addition, she said with greatest respect to her colleagues on the bench, there are some streetwise nuances that come out in the evidence that really its only jurors would understand, and you would find that some judges are tempted to become too legalistic in looking at evidence. Llewellyn, who was speaking as a guest on TVJ Smile Jamaica yesterday, stressed that in cases where credibility is the issue, it is easier, in her opinion, for the average juror to separate the issue. You may not believe the police officer, but we believe the eyewitness. The judge, being very legalistic and cerebral, will more tend to say, well, it's over everything. I don't believe anything. That is my experience. So I would prefer to see a hybrid situation, she added. The island's chief prosecutor's comments come amid a discussion on the lengthy trials and delay in court system. For Llewellyn, a large part of the reason is the lack of cooperation from members of the public, who are not only required to give a statement, but also required to give evidence in court during the trial. However, she said a part of the problem is that a lot of Jamaicans are unaware of the requirements of being a good citizen. A lot of people really don't know what the importance is, the responsibility to do your jury service, a responsibility to give evidence about what you have seen. Cases cannot prove themselves, she added. Llewellyn, in the meantime, is calling for greater public education on how the justice system works. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.